Hello, everyone. This is Melissa Wanish, and I'm going to be doing some live coding today. And I'm going to talk just a little bit here at the beginning to make sure that people on Twitch get a little notification that I am live, and they have a little bit of a chance to click on the button or the link if they want to. So if you happen to somehow find this video and you don't know who I am, again, my name is Melissa Wanish, and I am the founder of Ruby Thursday. It's a tutorial site for junior Rails developers. And I've been doing a little bit of advanced stuff here on the live stream, but it's always good to, even if you don't understand everything that's happening, watching people work, looking at other people's code is always great. So we've been having a lot of fun with the live coding here. We've been working on an invoice app that is live. We're really the folks using it right now. My husband slash also business partner and I have a couple of different client things that we now collect money through GigTilt. And we're preparing it for a more formal launch. There are a couple of features we want to put in first before we do that. So that's what I've been doing. And we're working on ACH payments today. We started that about 2 weeks ago. And we're going to be, well, actually, I think we've been working on ACH for a little bit, but I'm hoping to wrap it up today, or at least this week. I did actually go ahead and put in some work. If you're watching, if you watched the last video on YouTube, you can definitely find some of my work, some of what we've been doing on YouTube. I believe it's just Ruby Thursday. If you look that up, you will find me. And here's a plug for joining my mailing list. Head on over to rubythursday.com and sign up, and then you definitely get an email for when I'm going live. So I'm just going to thank you. Can't wait for this to be going on. Let me see. Yep, I can see that pretty easy. All right, so I'm just going to jump in. I've been doing a little bit. So if you have any questions, please, comments, suggestions, put those in the chat. I will try to look at it pretty regularly here for the next 2-ish hours, and we'll get started. So let's go ahead and oh, I clicked on something accidentally. Oops, where did I go? Can no longer see my chat. Let's go back to my channel. I don't see my chat. Did I click off? I might need to call my tech support. It says I'm streaming live. And then it's just gotten. I am, but I no longer see my chat. I go to my channel, and now I see the chat room. Okay. Must have clicked on something as I was trying to go to OBS. And now let's transition. And you can see the code. All right. And I'll click back over here so that I can see my chat again. Okay. I think we're set up. Sorry for the delay here. All right. So you are seeing my screen, and I'm just going to make sure that we have guard running in a separate terminal. And we'll have that in case we want to look over. I also just ran this, the spec that we're working on, that I'm working on, and it failed. So we're still working towards that. So I'm just going to open up a separate terminal, And hang on, I'm sort of watching myself in two places. Let me just kind of hide and just look at the chat. Oh, there we go. All right, so we're gonna run guard so that it will continue to run all the tests probably at certain points. But if we're just working on the single test, I may come back to here and run it. But let's go ahead and have it watching us and running everything. All right, so at the end of last time, I was about to try to troubleshoot why. Oh, well, let me go back to the spec actually. It's in the same place. It says down here. Okay, so undefined local variable or method public token. All right, so what we're doing is we're running Plaid, all right, which is a service connect, and then you can connect that to Stripe. And Plaid does this really awesome user experience where they can just sign into their bank account instead of having to find their routing number and their account number. And that will authorize Stripe to have that account information. And, then we have that information as well. And so we are going to then use that to create the customer with Stripe and charge them. So we got the basics of Plaid working last time where it does go and gives us back this public token and the metadata. So it is working. This part right here is working as far as Plaid is concerned. But now we need to take that information and use it. And part of the kind of complication happening is that we also want to gather the email address because in our particular instance, we are not asking people to log in before submitting the payment. I'm trying to have customers not have to log in at all, not create an account, so that there's less friction in that way to using GigTilt. So, maybe one day we'll have to, but right now it's still a goal to leave that as only just needing to access things with their email address, not having to log in. So, what I learned right here as I was researching is that what I was trying to do was take the information and then load that back up into, I'll make it so it's not gray, load that back into a partial where we would then have as a hidden, I don't think I have it open right now, as a hidden field in our form, we would continue to capture the public token and the account ID. And then we get the customer email, and then we're going to send all that to our create method for the payment and, do more. There's more work to be done as far as communicating with Plaid to get the account information from Stripe. Lots more that work there, but first we just need to be able to send these two items to the server with the form. So what is happening now is that what I learned is if you try to do this here, this does not work. You can't, because rendering a partial is done server side. Okay, so it's not client side, it's server side, and therefore this isn't going to work. So we need to instead, and I looked up how to send a request with plain JavaScript. I'm trying to keep it plain JavaScript in here as opposed to jQuery. even though like right now all the examples of such things are with jQuery. But I did find this awesome site, and I'm going to try to load that up. Oh, let's see if I can only have, okay. It should be in my history. Why you don't need, I think it is why you don't need jQuery. There we go. Why you don't need jQuery. You might not need jQuery. That's what it is. So this site I found today and bookmarked. There it is. And it basically helps with some suggestions here on how to take what is jQuery and instead, you know, yes, it's longer, but there's a move now to not use as much jQuery. So here is what we are going to be working with and trying to basically open our URL that I'm about to create, send the information to the server, let the server take that and then render the partial. And that is what we're trying to do. So I put a couple of the pieces in place. I have a chat here. Someone saying hi, I believe. Oh, cool story, Bob. I am not hip to all of the Twitch things, but that looks fun. Thanks. So now what we're going to do is we're no longer trying to do this. I'm just leaving it in here for some reference. And I was going to try a get instead of a post. We'll see if that works. So I then created a new controller. Then we're calling Plaid Response Controller. And we're going to say def show, okay? And so that we're sort of separating out instead of having, it's more restful, right? Than adding another action to our payments controller. And then we will respond to format.js. And so we need to have Plaid response controller. So what I'm going to need to do is actually have a folder in views. So I sort of played with doing a custom thing here, but I'm going to move that. So I'm going to need to create a folder, which is Plaid response. And then I just want to move it. So I'm going to move. There we go. Move app, views, payments, ACH. Instead, we're going to move it to app, views, Plaid response, and we're going to call it show.js.erb. Okay. And I may need to open up an older project where I had a similar setup here. I'm sorry, coffee. Just a little bit. It's super hot in New York, and I went out in it, and I just was too tired. I needed some coffee. Okay, so now we have that in place. Now we need our route. So I think we can just do, sorry. Let's see, routes. Routes. resources, Plaid response, only show. Okay. All right, these are sort of our custom guys right there. All right, so it's going to be, so we want to get backslash Plaid response. So if we go to our payments here, get response. Now I kind of guessed a little bit at some of this, so we'll have to see. Hopefully it sends these params correctly. Okay, I think we're ready. Now I know Guard is probably running things in the background here. Things that I've broken. All right, well, let's just run our own here. I mean, Guard's going to be great because it's going to do it at the end and I don't have to like restart that. But I find it a little easier to run just the particular spec here that I'm working on. Just because of my particular setup. So it's going to run. Okay. Okay, it failed at RB7, so I feel like that's pretty early in it. So it's failing, expected to find text, awesome, invoice 2 in internal server, could not find invoice. Couldn't find invoice. All right, where are we? Line 7. So right at the beginning. So something we have done is completely breaking it. I put a lot of pieces in place. So let's go bit by bit. Let's see if we get to it's probably a JavaScript error in here maybe. I don't know. It wouldn't totally. Let's take out this. First, gotta find where the error is happening because I did add a lot of the pieces here. Sorry, I need to put that back up to the top. It's at the very bottom there. Okay, so that was not. What else is? see, well, let's look at our new. I wonder if it's because this is just, maybe we need to exit this. Maybe it's just, let's see if this works. Maybe guard plus this was messing it up there. Sorry, I forgot to move it to the top again. Like too many threads happening. Right. Okay, back to our old. Okay, so it was the guard. Don't do that then. All right, don't do that. We'll run guard at another time. I was trying to see if it would work for my workflow, and it's really not. So now, let's put that back in and see what happens. Oh, still the same thing. All right, so what we're going to go ahead and do is, because it's probably JavaScript errors happening, we're just going to go ahead and run the server. I could potentially put in a capybara thing where it asks, you know, hey, there should be no JavaScript errors. Let me see if I do that instead. Actually, might be faster. I know that we did that in our Ruby Thursday. This is like the example app that I tend to use. And, oh, sorry, spec. Features, yes, crew member, starships. Expect page not to have errors. Let's just see if that gives us some more information without having to run the server. Let's just stop it. Let's do it after. Okay, so it's loading the page, okay, but then not to have errors. See if we get to this point, right? We may move it lower if it gets through that before I give up. Oh, wrong tab. Before I give up and run the server. Okay. Let's move it to after where is it failing? Do we what line is it failing here? Did you? Oh wait. Read your error messages here. Payments, JS 36. Oh, it's still trying to do it even though I commented it out. Okay. Read your errors, read your errors. Don't just go blindly. Oftentimes, even if you comment out things in a Vue or in JavaScript, if it's a Ruby thing, then it still fails. So, like it's still trying to read it, even though it's not there. Okay, something new anyway. Okay, so it did. So if you look through here, right, I'm seeing what was on the page. So it did hide the credit card form, which we have it doing here. Okay, it's not evidently not doing this quite right. Okay. All right, I think I'm gonna, let's see, where is our, oh, I took that out. All right, okay, so X, then it failed here, right? Okay, so let's see if it has some errors. If not, we will run the server to see and look at the server logs and see if it's trying to open my page or not. Okay. Okay. That's a new place. Let's just run it again. That's moving back. Did I accidentally delete something? I don't think so. Got to select, did not get to select your account. It may just not be loading fast enough. I already have a sleep 5. So let's just see if I need to increase the sleeping. Because it has to load. Let's see. Just going for if it works. Great. Okay, so it's finding no route matches get. Okay, I added the resource, wouldn't that be a get? Let's see. Oh, it wants an ID. Right. So let's just match it then instead. Right, because I'm not sending it any ID. All right, so where's the routes? So we're just gonna do a get right now. Oh, I hate when that happens. There we go. All right, let's make sure again. I think of the other project, it was sending some of the params. Okay. All right. So Plaid response. Okay. All right. So now let's see what happens. But my get errors thing did work. I didn't have to run the server. Let's see if it continues to provide useful information. Oh, it's in the wrong place here. Okay, let's go up to here. Let's see. ACH form. Maybe we need to tell it. Ah, right. Because it's looking in the folder for Plaid response. Right. Makes, obviously it's, would try to do that. I think I'm going to leave it where it is. So right now I have the ACH form under payments. Or should I move it? I think I'm going to leave it. I just have to tell this guy that it's in payments. Okay. Let's try again. Still wants it. Did it not save? Did I not put it in the right place? Because if you see here, it's still trying partial ACH form. It's supposed to auto-save. But maybe because I have multiple screens, it didn't auto-save. Okay, let's try again. I'm not sure why it didn't auto-save. Oh, still not happy. It still says that. And oh. Haha, right, because I thought I moved it so it would go away from here. I've been doing the wrong one. That's weird. Okay, so this one can go away. I thought I moved it, and so it would go away, but evidently not. Okay, so save that. Oh, because it was still open. That's why. And so it created it again. So that's why I'm getting confused. All right, so remove app use payments. Okay, there it goes. Bye-bye. But see how it's here now? Yeah, okay. So close without saving. All right, now we've... So now I'm editing the correct one. Okay. I think that's just a bad habit of mine. It's not the first time that's happened. I don't close the file that I'm moving or renaming, and then I start to do it again. Okay, something happened. Yay. So it's not finding at invoice. Should have at invoice because it's not reloading the page. Go back to the spec here. So it had the content invoice name. Is that because there's an error? I mean, you should have the... Sorry, just let me read the thing. Okay, so no route matches, payments, invoice ID nil. Invoice ID. Does it need to be at invoice.id? I don't think so. The credit card form works with that at invoice. So I'm just seeing if there's... So I'm just going to save an open page here to make sure when we're seeing this, it's not an error. Like, it's not an error page. Like, if it's loading, it shouldn't be reloading. but maybe when we're rendering the partial, that variable isn't there. Maybe, okay, I think I'm going to try, let me come back to that, but instead I'm going to try, maybe if I just put it in here. Because we're loading this, after the page has loaded. So let's go here. Try that. All right, let's try it. So because I'm loading the partial from the server, okay. That may or may not work. Curious what you are building. Someone has jumped in. I'm building an invoice app that is a way for folks to, so it's the same error, but folks to, like independent contractors, to invoice their clients. And we're trying to do it, there's different products already out there, and one of our goals is to make it sort of the least amount of friction for the client to come and pay, so they don't have to log into yet another service. And we have this payment link so all you do is send the payment link, they come to the page, they fill out their payment information, then they hit pay, and there you go. So there are different ways, different types of payment plans or payment transactions you can create. So there's like a one-time payment, there's a payment plan, which is not always easy, other providers don't always have, and or a subscription. Right now, we're also on the roadmap going to be creating something more with packages. Other folks are doing that as well, and that's something we need, like a one-time fee plus a subscription. So that's on the roadmap. And right now I'm trying to add ACH payments with Stripe and Plaid. So we're using Stripe as our payment processor, and we're trying to integrate with Plaid to have this really great seamless experience where a window pops up, and you, instead of having to enter your bank account information, your routing number and your account, you sign in to your bank with your username, password, because those are things you have more readily available generally. And so we're going to gather that information, and we're at the point now where we're trying to collect, use the information that's came back from Plaid, which is like a public key. Was it a key? A token. Public token and an account ID that we're then going to use to communicate with Plaid and Stripe, but we haven't gotten there yet. The next step is to get the email address. So I'm trying to load up the form here. I'm trying to load this form and having some information. So, okay, good. So I've caught you up. And we're having the same error. So it's saying it's not. Invoice ID. Let's see how to. Well, let's just sort of see at what point we lose the invoice, I guess. I'm not sure how to continue to, yes, invoice ID is nil. You made it a non-instance variable, because I put it into, here. I was trying to put it in when you load the partial, because I was getting that error, and then I'm trying to load the partial. Because when I had it as the @ I had the same error. Because before, let's just go back. All right. If we have this, the @ which, I mean, the page isn't reloading. Should be available to us. So I'm trying to connect the dots here on loading this partial from the server, capturing that ID there. So this is the same error. I wonder. I'm thinking about moving this to the view, because it's a lot of moving parts. Sending these messages from, I'm taking from let's see, this JavaScript, going to our Plaid controller, response controller, right? Rendering the JS that is now this, right? To then load that partial back in. Because we have to send it to the server to load the partial back in so we can collect that email. So I'm thinking maybe, if we take, it's not open, just to see if we can get it working here. Because right now we render the credit card form unless they click on this link, and then we're hiding this credit card form. So this is originally hidden. So okay, now here, if we just put in, nope, what did I do? Okay, so if we take this out, and put it here, this button should go away too, actually. Well, we'll do that later. Oh, and this lovely button. That's why it's all there. All right, so wait, what do we got? Okay. Still the ACH form. All right, so the form isn't going to show until we tell it, until we're loading the partial. Okay, let's just see what happens here. Okay, maybe, let's see. F for class. Okay, so that's not working. Should that not be in the Plaid response controller? I'm not sure how to send that. Could try that because this didn't work. All right, so let's start a little list of what we've tried. So because we're troubleshooting, so let's so one let's just do all right, so I tried this and it didn't work. And then I tried this and it didn't work. Okay, so now let's undo. Nope. What we tried. Okay, so if we try setting it, there. All right, so I'm getting the Plaid response. So I'm sending these params. Do you think it still knows? It knows. So we're saying potentially. I don't know. Invoice ID. I think this is gonna fail. What if, well, you know what I could look for? Let's see what's available to us here. Right? Would in a binding pry there. and see what's available. Because then if I have to send it from that JavaScript call, that get call, then I'll work on that. Okay. Oh. Am I missing something here? Def show permitted false. Uh-oh. We don't have any of those things happening. So let's take that back to back a step here. So it's not sending the params at all. Okay, yeah, it timed out. Melissa, check chat. I see. So I'm getting over from the other room here. Check chat. I see. The last chat I see is Mazer Rackham Hee Hee. Is there other chat that came in that I don't see? Sometimes the chats on Twitch is slow. Todd, did you hear me? Okay. Yeah, so I'm trying to find, so per Razor Rackham's suggestion, he couldn't follow where @invoice is defined. And so I'm trying to see what params we have, maybe where I need to redefine it for loading that partial. But what we just learned is that there are no params coming into here. So this even is not working. So let's go back a step. Which is back to here. I can't put a binding pry, I don't think, in a... Can I put a binding pry in a js.erb? I don't think I've ever tried. I don't think that's a thing. Because that's why you have these console logs. Now, I have... This is where I kind of changed it from what I looked up. Because this was saying, right, if we look back at our... you might not need jQuery. It's saying data. Send data. All right, why don't we define it as data and see what comes in, right? So, nope, here. All right, so let's actually keep the binding pry in there. Let's call it data. I don't know that the name matters, but maybe it does. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay. Are you sure you're sending JSON? No. Well, you know, I'm trying to send, this is JSON. Yeah. So let's see, now that I've changed it to data, maybe that's better. Yeah? Any other suggestions? JavaScript is not my first language. Ruby is. JavaScript is still something I work on. Pretty comfortable with Ruby, but especially since all of the examples have jQuery and not JavaScript. Just trying to keep it more JavaScript than jQuery, but how about start with a pure JS object, then use something like JSON stringify object. Okay. Yeah, because there's still nothing coming in. Something like okay, so I'm reading. I'm not sure how to do that. Creating a pure JS object. So we're defining a function, or I'm just gonna look up this guy. Oh, yeah. Timing out. Just so I know what, oh, okay. Okay, so, thank you, Mazer. It looks like the request body you're trying to send is a string version of a Ruby object, which I don't think would work. So, no, I'm not searching that. I'm just looking at learning what this is, since you mentioned it. Okay, so okay, so if I tried, kind of thought the coloring was wrong on the editor, you know what I mean? Okay, so right here, right? And then so we take out all this all the I did get that from a Stack Overflow, but I don't have that open anymore. Oh, probably. because I'm not logging it. I'm just doing that. Maybe? Try it again. In the documentation for all that runs for this, right? It's like, here, send public token and account ID to your app server. Okay. Well, it doesn't know what language you're using, right? So, I guess, you know. Anyway, might be helpful if they had a little more information there. Okay, let's see. All right. No. I mean, if I wrote just data, that's not a thing, right? Let's see. Let's write this down as something we've tried. It may stay. I'm just writing it down. All right, we're just gonna have to play in the console. Here we go. I've been trying to avoid it all day. But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta open up that JavaScript console and see where we are. Okay. I just do this one? No. What do we got? I don't remember. Test stripe. Oh, maybe test stripe. Yes, okay. Test ACH. Okay, so view this. View payment link. Here we go. This is not styled yet. And then what were the... Oh, it's in my test. What we should add. What we should use. User good, pass good. Okay. And actually, I would love to watch the console here. Fine. I don't care about that. Oh, don't save. Okay. Did I mistype it? PASS _ good. Okay. Checking's fine. All right, so those things happened. Okay. Let's go to our, oh, we have a binding prior. We should take that out. Okay. For now. So the server itself probably came up with the same error that we were seeing. Right, that the invoice ID is nil. So I'm gonna go back to our JavaScript to log. Okay, console log. Data to see what it looks like. Because it's doing this. We see that happening, right? Because it's trying to load the partial. It's getting all the way to that point. So that part's working. What's not working is sending the information that we need. So let's inspect that, right? So here we are with the log. I don't suppose I can just write why don't I have debugger, right? No, that's not what I want. Okay. Doesn't it usually have a point where you could type into the console? Right? What, am I missing something? I thought you could usually type into that. Excuse me. Mazer just... Oh, let me... Water. Oh, right. Maybe I do have to use post. So Mazer is saying if you send get with a body, does Rails automatically parse and load that into the params? You know what? Maybe it's all about my get, right? Why don't we try that? You're right. Because the example from here is a post. So, you know what? Let's do that post instead. Here. Okay. And then in our routes, yeah, there we go. Silly. Okay. I feel like that's going to be much better. Let's see what happens. All right, let's just go with doing it online again here. Sorry, it's all small. Make it back. All right. User good. Pass good. Thank you. Okay. The route to, yes, I changed the route. Thank you. And then, let's see. Let's see what, if we got a different error here. It's really the same error. Yeah. Same error. Let's go back to, so it's not, it didn't, sorry, we're payments. It didn't log the data. There's another thing, check request raw post. Mazer, is that in the console log or in the controller? I'm not sure where I would check that. Request raw post. I can Google that real quick. Controller. Okay. Let's go back to here. We'll put the binary pry back in there. And oh, back to here. So because it didn't do that. Hang on. That's an action dispatch thing. Okay. Cool. Let's do. Sorry, I was there. And we're getting very familiar with our Plaid user experience. Oops. Should probably save it. Just gonna collect savings this time. Okay. So it's still just logging these two. We should be in a pry. We're not in a pry. Why not? Oh, it started get Plaid response. Why did it do that? Where is it trying to do that from? I thought I changed it all. Started get. Why is it starting get? Post. Plaid response. Okay. Thanks, Mazer. Thank you for giving me some things to work on, some tips. All right, so I'm still not sure. Oh, you know what? I could move that. No, it's doing these things. All right, so in post. You know what? I may need to refresh the page. Right? Because I may just need to refresh. Okay, at least it did, right, so I refreshed it, so that's why it's now finally, sending this stuff. So we're in a binding pry. No, we're not in a binding pry. Why not? Oh, interesting. Okay. We got to a new error. Yay! That is, how am I looking? Slouched down, sorry. Okay. So let's see. So we're seeing the params. It's great. So that's working. Looks like it's gonna come in good, I think. So let's look up. Right, because it's kind of coming from itself here. Let's see. Oh, right. I think actually, sorry. Forgot to out loud. This before filter, if I remember correctly, that's actually, in our Connect Stripe. Yes. Right. It's the same thing. It's like going away and coming back. So, that's why we have to put that in there. Great. Well, let's see if we get to the binding pry. I think we should refresh before we try again. Here's our lovely chase. Okay. Save. Is there a never save? I should look at that again. Okay, so oh, we're not getting to the binding pry yet. Okay, all right, what's up? All right, I think this is a reboot server time. Let's actually run the spec. Now that I've seen that it's sending the information, I believe, correct in the correct JSON format. I think that's right. So let's just run it and see if we can get to our binding pry now. Sorry for the silence, letting my voice rest a little. Taking a minute here. Okay. Params. All right. Cool. What happens now? Okay. So we have some params going through now. So I think we need to send the invoice ID along as well. So let's go back to here. All right, so we're gonna add, because it should have access, I think. Oh, you know what? Let's try instead. No, right. So, because right now we did the params. Right. Okay, so let's see if we have access here. It would be, I think it would be this even, right? No, is that HTML or did I delete that other guy? Oh, I did delete it because it was causing an error. Did I have to, how did I do? This. Is it like this? I'm gonna try like this. Yes. Right. Okay. That's where I'm getting that from. Okay. I'm mixing up my quotation marks here. Guess we'll just keep it. I tend to prefer double. I don't know. It's easier for me to read. But this file itself is mostly single, so we'll just keep it with that. Okay. So now let's try it again. Oh. Well, we're going to get to our by name pry. It will not have fixed it. Because I'm not doing anything with that invoice ID. So okay, so we're even gonna go further. How do we persist this invoice? I'm thinking. Well, it's in the current URL, like where we are, right? So the client JavaScript would have access to that as opposed to the Ruby. So we can get the invoice ID from the URL. So how do we get that in JavaScript? So I don't know. Let's see. JavaScript. Current URL. Window location. Now how are we gonna get it out of there? Okay, because you can see here, right? This is what we need, which is our lovely slug, okay, because it is a we're trying to hide the actual ID. So can I gsub in? Gsub is a Ruby thing, isn't it? Okay, let's go back to a different question. So that's how you get the URL. URL parameter. No, it's not gonna really look like that, I don't think. No, it's not from the question mark. Regex. Okay, right, regex. Um, um, so why can't I swear? I should be able to like play around in here, right? In the console. Why? Why is that not a thing here? Do I not have it turned on somehow? Like right down here. Isn't there a way to like just type in the console? What? Why not? Okay. Do, 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 do. Oh. It was just too low on the screen. I was like, where's my cursor? So let's play around. Let's play around with this. Back to here. So window location href. What does that give us? Okay, so this gives us the whole thing. All right. Href. Let's call it equals window dot location dot. Ooh, there, look at all these different things. What does constructor do? Oh, okay. Href. Okay, well, that was fun. But let's do oh, hi. A little wonky there. Dot path name? What do we got there? Okay. That's all we need. So we need to get out of here. This part. So now, get part of current URL. Good portion of. Yes. Do you have some regex examples for me here? Okay, let me just the path. Well, I need even less of that. Hash, no. Oh, split. We have an array containing all URL parts, which you can access like a normal array. That's fun. Right, split that like a string. Okay, so let's just call it pieces. href split, right? Too many dots. Should be an array. Okay, so there's nothing at the front of it, I guess, so that's why. So if I do the href, it is the third. So, did it have more? That's only the path parts. What is the, okay, what does this do? Sorry. Here we go, back to here. Oh, sorry. JavaScript. Pieces. Okay, that gave me like the same thing. Okay. And then from the array, I don't really care about the empty one. Oh. That seems even less exciting here. Okay. So now if it's the third one, would be pieces 2. Okay. Pieces is a terrible variable. Let's think of something else. But there we go. That's how we can get it and then send it on. If anybody has any suggestions, it seems a little hacky to me, but I think that's how we're going to have to send, because basically this is all happening in the client. And we got to send the information back to the server, and so the server doesn't have information that's there in the client. So I think this is how we have to send the information. But if you have any suggestions and you watch this later, feel free. All right, let's go with this. So we need to find. So we got this guy. Now, this is very dependent on me keeping the path names the same. So it's I feel like the coupling happening is not awesome, but let's come up with another name than pieces. URL split. Let's go path split. And then we just would need path split 2. Okay. Then in we find by the slug, which is in the params. Then I think that's, oh, okay, then we go to our form. Oh, the other one, this guy. And I think we do have to now say invoice right. We're sending all these messages along. So then we take that guy back out. All right. Let's see what happens. I think we're close. Because it is after 7. So I'm going to, excuse me. I've really slumped down here. I need to, sorry. I need to wrap it up. But I think we made good progress even if I didn't finish. But there's a bunch more that needs to be put in as far as like communicating with Plaid and Stripe together. But I do believe this is the hardest part, for me anyway. There's not really been like an example that I could see of sending the information to the server other than, yeah, I haven't seen it. So maybe there are examples somewhere, but oh, you know, I saw the example, but it didn't send you back. It just like completed the process, right? It was assuming you had everything. There was like a current user that it used, and I don't have that. So that is why I have to go back and collect this information. So it's running. There's a lot of sleeping involved because you saw that it took a moment for the JavaScript to do its thing when you're going through Plaid to select your bank account and all that stuff. Okay. All right, so there is a JavaScript error. Okay. Should have left my binding pry in. Okay. Let's see how this is coming in. Maybe I have to change it or something. Oh, it takes a minute. Okay, we get here. Look, there it is. So okay. Wait, is it? Oh, maybe none of them are, okay. I think I have to do it like this because it's coming in as JSON. Right. So, oh! It kicked me out. So I think instead we do, this. I think this will work. As opposed to the symbol, right? But we're gonna try it again. And then we'll wrap it up because I'm hungry. It's 7 o'clock at my time, so. Okay. We did invoice. No! I don't understand. Because it's coming in all like that. Maybe it's not coming in as JSON, really. Because that looks a little wonky to me. What did he also suggest? He suggested request. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna time out. All right. So I think my issue is that it's not coming in as JSON, even though Mazer was trying to help me to get it to come in as JSON. I think that it's not. So it's sending the right stuff, but it's not sending it in a format. Or this I'm just not doing quite right. So that's where we are. Hey, it's live coding. You know, not every session can end with a beautiful green. I love it when that happens, but this is a project. And, you know, life has a a way of getting in the way of projects. So last week, my parents were in town, which was awesome, but sort of lost momentum there. But I have a babysitter tomorrow, so I will be jumping back on tomorrow. And I'm going to try to figure this out. So, made good progress. It's a complicated thing, I think. Again, if you watch this and have any suggestions, I think I'm going to try to put it on YouTube as soon as I can. That would be great. If anybody else has really dealt with this particular fun issue. All right. That is it. Here's a plug again for my mailing list. Head on over to rubythursday.com to sign up. I do more than just live code. I put together tutorials. We record roundtable. There's a meetup called Ruby Roundtable in New York that I co-organized, and we record that. And so you get links to that. So head on over there and sign up. And I hope you all have a wonderful day and happy coding. Thank you all for coming on and watching me try to figure it out. Okay. All right. Bye, guys.